Tonight, accepting extradition. Scottish nationals accused in the death of an Owen Sound businessman closer to appearing in Canadian court. Plus, property expropriation.
If it's for the better, then what else can we do? As long as they offer us a nice compensation.
Hibbury Avenue homeowners forced to give up their land. And the sound of the classics. The nostalgic vibes coming back to the Highland Theater.
CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with an update to a manslaughter case in Owen Sound. 3 Scottish men accused in the death of a restaurant owner have consented to face those charges here in Canada. 24-year-old Robert Evans Jr. is charged with manslaughter. His father and uncle have been charged with accessory after the fact. Back in August 2023, 44-year-old Sharif Rahman was assaulted outside his restaurant. He later died in hospital. The altercation was apparently over an unpaid bill. Police say Evans Jr. was the one who attacked Rahman, who then fled the country with the help of his father and uncle. During an extradition hearing this morning in Edinburgh, all 3 consented to be sent to Canada to face the charges, but the final decision rests with the Scottish government. An emotional sentencing hearing today in Sarnia for a man who pleaded guilty in the shooting death of a family friend. As Nick Paparella reports, the person responsible was just 16 years old at the time.
A packed Sarnia courtroom heard tear-filled victim impact statements from the family of David Oliver. The 29-year-old was hanging out with a younger friend smoking a joint along Army Camp Road at Kettle and Stony Point First Nation when things turned deadly. It was in July of 2020 that he would be shot twice in the head and his body dragged into a nearby field. The person responsible wouldn't be arrested for years. But in September of 2024, and after several interviews, the OPP tracked down the killer, only to find out he was 16 years old at the time. Because of that, he cannot be identified under the Youth Criminal Justice Act. In the summer, the man, now 21, pled guilty to second-degree murder for the killing, which was described as senseless. In her victim impact statement, Oliver's mother, Carla, was sobbing, saying, "My heart is broken, and I know it will never be the same as before David was murdered." Fearful over his eventual release, she said he may be a young offender, but handled what he did as an adult. There is no guarantee he won't do it in the future. Because of his age at the time, both the Crown and defense submitted a joint sentence recommendation of 4 years in jail, followed by 3 years community supervision. The 21-year-old has apologized to the family for his actions. He is expected to be sentenced on November 12th. Nick Paparella, CTV News.
Crown lawyers are seeking a dangerous offender designation for a man found guilty of attempted murder here in London. 48-year-old Jeremiah Reed was convicted of chasing down a friend and stabbing him in the neck in April 2022. The court has heard a psychiatric assessment was ordered for the man who has a lengthy criminal record. A dangerous offender designation would mean Reed's time behind bars would be indefinite. The hearing is expected to last all week. A controversial apartment project was back on the agenda at Sarnia City Hall today. It will house dozens of residents, but as Brent Lale reports, the building's final location still up for debate.
For months, those who live near this empty lot on George Street have been fighting to prevent the building of a 5-story supportive housing complex. They say the neighborhood is undergoing a renaissance after 18 years of having a homeless shelter nearby.
You put this here, it's done. It's absolutely done. And that's why we're fighting it. It's just the wrong place.
The Indwell project was back at council today with a motion by George Vandenberg.
Find an alternative location for this George Street site because it is unique.
It sparked discussion for and against looking for a new site.
Honestly, I don't have a problem with the idea of having an alternate location. What I have a problem with, though, is delaying it any further.
Things like neighborhood watch or maybe different reviews by the police department in terms of looking after the area. Because often if you start these things right from the beginning, then the toeholds of the troubles are nipped in the bud.
We're going to meet this challenge over and over. Even if we ask the county or the city or us to pick a site, no one's going to be happy about it.
Roberts, Councillor Kilner, and myself. So the question fails.
Ultimately, Mayor Mike Bradley broke the tie vote, defeating the motion.
Very disappointed with Council's decision today. We were only simply asking, will you look at alternate sites?
Despite the motion to look for an alternate site being voted down by Council, residents in that neighborhood say they aren't done fighting.
Next for us would be we're looking to, when Indwell applies to the city with a planning application, a zoning application, there will be a public process, and at that time, we'll participate.
Councillor Bill Dennis's motion to ask staff to develop a neighborhood safety plan around a future Indwell building was approved. Brent Lale, CTV News.
Meanwhile, a motion to allow Sarnia Councillor Bill Dennis back inside City Hall failed to garner any support. He's been barred from the facility since January following a third-party investigation which found he violated the city's workplace harassment policies over his conduct toward city staff and fellow councillors.
We are live on location tonight at my sister's place in London, and this is a safe haven that has been supporting women in our community for 21 years. We are joined by Jennifer Martin. Jennifer, for folks at home who perhaps don't know a lot about my sister's place, can you give us a brief overview of what you do here and how you support women?
Absolutely. So we opened 21 years ago, as you mentioned, and we are a safe space for women to come in, have something to eat, take a hot shower, do a load of laundry, participate in some programming that builds skills and build community. And we are currently open from 9:30 in the morning until 9:30 at night.
Okay, so this is where things get tricky for women who are living unhoused in our community, and you're having a special event coming up called the Ultimate Girls' Night Out. Tell us about it and what you're hoping to do with this event.
Wonderful. We are so excited. It's tomorrow evening, rain or shine. We are having the Ultimate Girls' Night Out, and we are encouraging women to gather a couple of friends, and instead of going out to dinner or out to a show, a typical girls' night out, to consider the women here at my sister's place. And a night out for them is very, very different than one for maybe you and I. We're asking people to come here instead and tour our resting spaces, enjoy a fancy hot chocolate and some other refreshments, and consider making a donation to support our overnight resting spaces for women.
And how many beds are available? They're currently not funded by the government at all. How many spots do you have here?
So we've got 10 spaces, and if there is extreme weather, we can add a couple of additional ones, but this is really, really vital because we know that it's not just a winter issue. Winter is coming and it is getting cool at night. It's darker earlier. It's dangerous year-round. We know that women need safety overnight. They need to be in, out of the elements, and this is the start of rebuilding their lives. This is, having access to supports and services throughout CMHA, Thames Valley Addiction and Mental Health Services, our parent organization, and as well as being connected with community partners. So it's really the beginning for a woman when she comes through those doors.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to talk to one of those women and hear her story coming up in just a few minutes, but it's the Ultimate Girls' Night Out right here tomorrow night at my sister's place. Thank you so much, Jennifer. Conditions across our region today, it was a beauty. We started the day with plenty of sunshine and temperatures temperatures right around where we should be for this time of year. Starting to get a bit cooler on the hour, and London sitting at 12 degrees, but skies are mainly clear. We'll stay mainly clear through the evening. We are under a little sliver of high pressure. We do have a big weather system off to the east and another one off to the northwest. The one to the northwest is going to cause some problems with our forecast tomorrow, but by problems, I just mean a little rain, so you just want to grab your jacket and your umbrella as you head out the door. We'll talk timing. Temperature holding steady at about 7 degrees by midnight, so single-digit temperatures overnight. We'll briefly come back up to about 8 degrees through the overnight. Coming up, I'll take you through the extended forecast. We'll look ahead at some rainy days. A typical fall-like pattern setting up as a big low-pressure area will wrap its way over the Great Lakes Basin. We'll talk about the front coming in tomorrow. All of that coming up live on location from my sister's place.
It's Julie. London police say they're investigating a shooting from early Sunday morning. They say the gunfire broke out near Adelaide and Piccadilly, where a man was found with a gunshot wound, and he's expected to recover. Police say 2 other men later showed up at hospital in separate vehicles, both with gunshot wounds, one of them critically injured. They've released photos of the cars that dropped the men off, but at this point, no suspects have been identified. London police say a hit-and-run crash sent a vehicle careening into an apartment building over the weekend. This is a photo taken by a neighbor early Sunday morning at a newer apartment complex at Southdale and Millbank. The crash also took out part of a gazebo before the vehicle hit the building. Police say the person in that car was not seriously hurt, and they're still looking for the other driver and vehicle involved. London police say they've arrested a suspect from this weekend accused of breaking into 2 homes and stealing a vehicle. They say it started Sunday morning at a home near the Carlyle Heights Optimist Community Center. According to police, the suspect broke into another home nearby about an hour later, stealing a vehicle. Police say they were then notified by someone who lived in that house. They say they soon located the stolen vehicle, and the driver intentionally drove into one of their cruisers before being arrested. Rail crossing repairs have closed down Clark Road in East London. Crews say they expect the area to open back up on Friday. Detour signs are in place, directing drivers along Dundas Street, Veterans Memorial Parkway, and Oxford Street. Officials say drivers should also expect delays in the area throughout the construction process. London city officials are starting the process of widening Hibbury Avenue to deal with worsening traffic congestion. However, that can't happen without impacting private property along the way. Brian Bicknell has more on the expropriation process getting underway.
Jeb Lefebvre has lived in her Hibbury Avenue home all her life, but now the city wants a piece of her property.
And according to the London city map, it shows going through the houses on both sides of Highbury, but talking to the guy at City Hall, they said they're just taking probably half of our front yard.
The city is acquiring 43 partial and 9 full properties around Highbury and Hamilton to make traffic improvements. Affected homeowners have received a letter saying City Realty Services will be in touch to negotiate compensation. The city calls the process the partial acquisition of property, but the homes on the west side of Highbury are already very close to the road. In the case of Deb Lefebvre, it would eat up more than 4 meters of her front yard, putting the high-volume traffic that much closer to her home.
Preferably, we just take the partial, and if there's not significant impacts to the rest of the lot, then we don't need to take it. But there are some circumstances where we're taking so much of a certain parcel of property, it kind of leaves the rest of it, unusable. And there are cases where then we would fully buy out the full property.
Homeowner Debbie Evangelist says she has mixed feelings.
If it's for the better, then what else can we do? I'm okay with it. As long as they offer us a nice compensation.
Planned improvements include additional north and southbound lanes along Highbury, median islands east and west of the intersection, several turn lanes, bike lanes, bus bays, and landscaping.
In London now, it's pretty congested, so I encourage widening of roads, be honest with you, because, it just moves people quicker and it's just more convenient for everybody.
And everyone always uses Highbury to go, so I think it could be a good idea. Depending on if the people who live there are okay with giving away the space to make the lanes bigger.
Construction is scheduled for 2029. Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
A heated meeting at City Hall today as neighbors near London's landfill demanded officials do something about odors and speeding garbage trucks.
If the landfill can grow, the safety zone must grow too. These aren't harmless fumes we're talking about. These are serious methane, VOCs, sulfur gases, and mix of volatile compounds that our children are breathing in.
We get impacted from the odor. Not only the odor, but all the trucks that come down our road, the garbage that flies off.
I've had enough. I've had enough of it. I've rejoined the PLC committee. I'm just furious every time I'm in there.
Council previously approved a plan to expand the landfill's lifespan by increasing its height. However, nearby residents say the proposed changes to the community enhancement and mitigative measures don't go far enough. The committee sided with neighbors on several changes, asking for a staff report on the odor, truck speeds, and garbage escaping into the area.
It's a reality that pretty much every major municipality has to face in terms of landfills. But to what we've tried to do today, I think there are mitigating things we can do. And I just want to say, we do hear you.
Politicians returned to Queen's Park today for the first time since June. One of the first issues discussed, a controversial skills development fund. Siobhan Morris has more on the questions put to the provincial jobs minister.
An unrelenting barrage of questions for the Labour Minister at the centre of a scandal. It's over the Skills Development Fund, a $2.5 billion pot for training workers. The Auditor General's described the process of deciding who gets it as not fair, transparent, or accountable.
And what was the common denominator? Lobbyists. Lobbyists with connections to this government, to this premier, and to this minister.
David Piccini's been involved in picking recipients with ties to progressive Conservatives who scored low in the criteria for funding.
Openly admitted to a conflict of interest to the premier. Will he ask the Minister of Labour to step aside?
A push all opposition parties are behind.
I think it's indefensible. I mean, he's essentially created a slush fund for PC donors at a time when we have 800,000 people out of work.
The minister defiant and defensive about the program's ability to change lives.
We're never going to apologize for making those investments in those workers.
The minister says there hasn't been quid pro quo in distribution of funds to unions who backed him or his party. And he has no intentions of removing himself from choosing who gets funding.
We work with our officials in that discussion. We have to make sure we have construction workers on job sites. Otherwise, we will delay.
The Premier's office says the Premier continues to have confidence in his Labour Minister. The government has introduced legislation aimed at making Ontario's economy more competitive.
An act to amend.
The bulk of the bill focuses on over 300 permits.
How we can get those permits either eliminated or approved faster without jeopardizing the integrity of the environment or public safety.
Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
A new nationwide farming initiative is focused on making the industry more climate friendly. Scott Miller has more on what that looks like in Midwestern Ontario.
This ground is, we always think it kind of looks like chocolate cake.
For the past 15 years, Ken Schaus has been using cover crops on most of the 4,000 acres he farms with his family across Bruce and Grey County.
We've seen an incredible difference in the soil, what it's become and what it's producing.
Using cover crops to protect the soil, limit runoff, and maintain soil nutrients is just one of the ways farmers are being encouraged to incorporate more climate-friendly or regenerative practices onto their farms. It's the focus of a new nationwide initiative from the Canadian Alliance for Net Zero Agri-Food called the Million Acre Challenge to try and limit carbon emissions in food production.
Only about 4% of climate finance actually goes to agriculture globally. And that's a very small amount of money towards a huge sector that is doing a lot for us. It sequesters carbon, it feeds us, it provides food security, it provides jobs, it provides culture and family. So why can't we grab that money and put it on the ground where it's actually needed?
With $7 million in startup funds from the Weston Family Foundation, Kanza wants to share the startup costs of projects that bring down farmers' carbon emissions, keep soil in the ground, and/or conserves water, while building a marketplace for farmers using carbon credits or other rewards for incorporating climate-friendly practices onto their operations.
In our current system, farmers take on all of the cost and a lot of the risk up front. So if we can help share some of that cost and risk so that we allow farmers to to innovate and find solutions for climate smart practices on their farm that work for them, then that's what we really want.
Now, the Million Acre Challenge will focus on agriculture-rich southern Ontario first. The goal is to have about 365,000 acres involved in the program in 5 years' time, and 25 million of Canada's 153 million farmable acres signed up by 2050. Show says on his beef and grain operation, they're using less fertilizer and fuel using cover crops while improving their yields at the same time.
You know, if I can do it, you know, any farmer can do it. Quite honestly, it's not hard to do, and it feels like the right thing to do.
Agriculture accounts for between 5 to 10% of Canada's yearly carbon emissions. Near Walkerton, Scott Miller, CTV News.
The emergency department at Clinton's hospital will temporarily close tonight. Officials say it's because of staffing shortages. The ER will close at 8 p.m. and won't reopen until Wednesday morning. Anyone with a medical emergency should still call 911. The closest 24-hour emergency departments to Clinton are in Seaforth, Goderich, and Exeter. London's Highland Theater is getting in on a renewed interest in old cinema. Staff are bringing back a 70mm projector based on popular demand. Sean Irvin has more on the vintage technology's nostalgic appeal.
It is a well-worn piece of film, but this image represents the first time a traditional 70mm movie has been shown in London for decades. It's coming from this 60-year-old camera, capable of playing both 35mm and 70mm films.
Yeah, I've been working on this one for about 5 years, rebuilding it, getting all the parts for it. The parts are what's hardest to find.
For Vic, bringing back 70mm film is a passion.
It's the splendor of 70mm, they used to say. Because of the larger frame size, the image on screen is so much brighter, you can put so much more light through it.
Until the advent of digital, 70mm was the gold standard.
Back in the 70s and 80s, it was what IMAX is today. Like, it had that status.
But as time advanced, prints were lost. Then, just as vinyl records reappeared, theater audiences of all ages suddenly wanted to see classic films the way they were presented.
A lot of the indies in Ontario are putting their projectors back in, because there is demand for that, seeing film.
There's no video stores anymore, and you have to join 10 streaming sites to get whatever movie you want to watch. And now everyone's like, you know, I'd rather see that on the big screen.
The debut of the 70mm projector and the first film will not happen here at the Highland until January. Already, there is a long wish list.
2001: A Space Odyssey, Ben-Hur, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Lawrence of Arabia, The Sound of Music, big epics.
That's not to mention the movies of today. Major film directors are demanding that studios release their projects in 70mm. That reality will put more people in the seats at the Highland, which will now be the only 70mm screen in this region.
Without having to drive hours, spend the night in Toronto, and even try to fight for a ticket.
But with original prints hard to come by, the flicker of the test screen is all classic buffs have for now. But Vic contends even this image is a welcome sight.
There are qualities to film projection that totally blow away digital.
In London, Sean Irvin, CTV News.
When we come back, one game, everything on the line. We set up Game 7 between the Toronto Blue Jays and Seattle Mariners, fighting for a World Series berth. Plus, the annual Special Olympics motion ball, raising thousands of dollars this past weekend for local causes.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We begin tonight with Ontario's
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. CTVLondon.ca, your home for news.
Welcome back. The Toronto Blue Jays will play a Game 7 tonight for just the second time in the ball club's history. They forced this decisive game coming from behind against Seattle. And as Adrian Gobriel reports, a whole country will be watching.
When the Northern Lights are their brightest, this baseball team has brought a nation to its collective feet. It's been 32 years since Joe Carter touched them all. A decade since Batista's blast. Though this current iteration of the Toronto Blue Jays has fans flying high once again, prompting some to hop a flight for the big game, with one pilot even sketching the Blue Jays logo with his flight path over Nova Scotia.
You got a diamond, you got 9 men.
Canadian rock stars have been strumming along this postseason to the Blue Jays anthem.
You got them to spring till fall.
In Victoria, fans caught the ferry to games 3, 4, and 5 in Seattle.
There's only 30 teams in the MLB, and Canada only has one of them, but it only takes one to win.
Lifelong Expos fans are even pulling for Vladdy's senior son, taking the trip from Montreal.
We're going to Game 7.
Yes! This postseason run has brought families and Canadians together and given rise to the next generation of Blue Jays Nation.
We're very excited. Let's go, Blue Jays!
It might be fall in Canada, but hope does spring eternal across the country this October with one common goal, one common purpose.
Okay, Blue Jays, let's play ball.
And play ball they will tonight. The two most intense words in sports, Game 7. The hopes of a nation hangs on each pitch, on every swing of the bat. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News, Toronto.
It was a weekend of fun, dancing, and competition at Oak Ridge Secondary School. Here's a look at the annual Special Olympics motion ball event.
It's so fun is because the Special Olympic athletes have come out here and they want to have some fun with the bunch of students from Western or all around that want to play this volleyball. But we also wanted to help fundraise.
It's an incredible day of integration, celebration. We're going to raise over $25,000 net for the Special Olympics community. And what's exciting is this is just one of 50 events across Canada. We're in 18 cities. We're on 35 university campuses. Motion Ball has donated over $20 million. And the most important thing of our movement is that integration with our Special Olympic athletes and our event participants.
Just have fun with everybody and also have fun with people you do not know yet, but just show them what you have and then teach them as well.
Today is all about fun, and today more than anything is about getting to know your Special Olympic athlete, and maybe we might turn a few heads and get some people involved to volunteer for the movement down the road.
We are heading back to my sister's place now, rejoining Julie Atchison live on location for us tonight. Julie, over to you.
Thank you so much, Carlyle. We have a special guest with us, Joan, and Joan has lived experience having stayed at the overnight spaces at my sister's place. Joan, tell us a little bit about your story and how you found my sister's place.
Okay, I fell down steps, broke my hip, and lost my job right away because I couldn't do it. So then I was in the hospital for 2.5 months. And then I found the agencies to bring me over to my sister's place. From there, I went to Holly House, and I got an apartment. Through the whole experience, it was about 6 to 8 months before I got an apartment. And now I'm happy, and I'm just amazed at it all.
Joan, having that experience going into the hospital, losing the place where you live, losing your job, coming out and not knowing what you were going to do, how did my sister's place change that for you?
My sister's place changed that for me because it gave me hope. It gave me a sense of belonging to the community, and they showed that they really cared about what happened to me. And that gave me more strength and accepting what happened to me, and that I could move on and become good again.
And you have your own apartment, as you say, and you also give back here at my sister's place. You come and chat with some of the women who are here and spend time with them because you have that shared experience.
Yes, and these women here, no matter who they are all have a special talent. They are women of the world because of their experience and the knowledge that they've gone through from abuse to the good things to the bad, all of the above, and it makes them all rounded as a person. And you just have to keep working on that to like yourself and then learn how to love yourself and become who you really can be.
All right, well, Joan, thank you so much for joining us tonight as we talk about our weather and conditions across our region. We're looking for partly cloudy skies and temperature-wise 11 to 12 degrees. Our satellite radar, we're looking at some rainfall coming in from the northwest. This cold front that will arrive to our region brings periods of heavy rain. Joan, she's a little angel over there. Thank you for joining us. Across the country, Western Canada, temperatures are on the cool side, fall-like air in place from coast to coast. And temperatures right across southern Ontario, right where we should be for this time of year. Overnight, we'll dip to 6 degrees. Midwestern Ontario, anywhere from 2 to 5. And if you're along that lakeshore, plus 10. So I mentioned a cold front coming in. This is going to pack a punch. Watch the rain as it arrives to the area tomorrow morning. We are expecting periods of rain through the area. And then as we head into the afternoon, we will see a bit of a lull. So the front will come through and then breaking into sunshine, and then showers redevelop into the evening. That low pressure area will set up shop over the Great Lakes, and we'll see that that clockwise flow of air coming in. And as a result, rounds of showers will develop. So it'll be cool in the upper atmosphere, and that materializes as rain at the surface. So as you head out the door tomorrow morning, cloudy with rain by about 8 o'clock. Winds out of the southwest, 20 with gusts to 40. Breaks in the cloud through the afternoon, and then periods of rain as we head into the evening. Temperatures feeling fall-like this week, and this is a very fall-like pattern. 10 degrees on Wednesday and Thursday, in and out of rainfall. Same weather system will be in place over the Great Lakes. Friday, we break into a mix of sun and cloud. Our metal roof outlet forecast for your Saturday and Sunday, 10 to 12 degrees under a mix of sun and cloud. And then as we head into Monday, about a 40% chance of showers. Overnight lows in those single digits. Midwestern Ontario, you'll be into rainfall as well, and temperatures on the cool side this week. It's jacket-wearing weather. 13 for tomorrow, periods of rain, and then showers Wednesday, Thursday. Showers taper off a Friday as high pressure starts to build in. Daytime highs over the weekend from 10 to 11 degrees, and we'll hit 12 degrees on Monday with some rainfall. So the ultimate girls' night out is happening tomorrow, October 21st, so you can skip going out with the girls for dinner and instead drop by my sister's place with a $100 donation or whatever you can donate. That $100, though, will provide a night's rest for a woman in our community. Chatting with Joan earlier, she was telling me about the women, how unsafe it is for them to be out on the streets, of course, at night. So a girls' night for you, perhaps you at home, is very different than for someone who's living in our community unhoused. So we're talking some cooler conditions at Carlyle in our region. We do have some rain in the forecast, and as we head through the rest of the week, we are expecting on and off showers as that cold air hovers in over the Great Lakes Basin. Back to you.
All right, Julie, thanks very much. Still ahead, when the price of the treat feels more like a trick, what's behind the rising cost of candy ahead of Halloween?
Big shout out to Brooke, who is our big winner and is heading to Sandals in Jamaica.
We have the Pure Country Passport, 25 trips in total to give away. Be listening for your next keyword starting at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Good luck.
Officials with Amazon are reporting significant recovery after a widespread outage caused issues for several popular websites and apps.
Well, the fact that it's gone public is very interesting because I'm sure Amazon has quite robust cybersecurity to actually mitigate for instances like this, where they don't have to inform their vendors that problems like this happen. This is a clear sign that having a cloud infrastructure that is so monopolistic is problematic. And a lot of people don't realize that many of the new things that we are building in AI, et cetera, are being built on AWS. If this is an indication about how quickly and fragile this AWS system is, we might be in bigger trouble than we think.
Amazon Web Services provides on-demand computing power, data storage, and other digital services. According to Amazon officials, the root cause has been identified, originating from the U.S. East Coast, providing web infrastructure for several companies, including Zoom, Snapchat, and Lyft. For anyone who has not stocked up on Halloween candy just yet, be warned, prices have gone up. With more on the difference this year compared to previous Octobers, here's Anastasia Dextrine.
Store owls with skeletons can only mean one thing. It's Halloween. But the most haunting thing this year might be the prices.
Candies like for kids, Halloween, it's getting hard.
From pharmacies to grocery stores, we set out around Montreal to check the price of one of the best sellers, assorted Nestle chocolate treats. The same box of 50 before tax ranged from $8.97 at Walmart to $11.99 at Jean Coutu. According to the 2025 Halloween treat cost report, Canadians will spend 10 to 20% more on candy this year. And that's not necessarily because we're buying more. Sylvain Charlebois of the Agri-Food Analytics Lab says the real problem is shrinkflation.
The costs of inputs for manufacturers have gone up, like cocoa, for example, for chocolate. And so that really has pushed a lot of manufacturers to shrinkflate their products. So bites are much smaller, or pieces are much smaller, which tends to push households to give more.
And those who buy in bulk may not be getting a better deal. We found boxes of 100 Nestle chocolate treats for $28.99 before tax at a Jean Coutu. Prices for the same product were lower at other stores, $17.97 at Walmart and $16.99 at Pharmaprix. We stopped at an IGA, but as of Sunday, they hadn't yet stocked their Halloween display.
Deals are sparse at the grocery store, I would say. Looking at what's going on right now, you're probably more likely to save money if you buy Halloween candy at a pharmacy or even at a dollar store.
Charlebois says increasing packaging and freight costs are also contributing to rising prices. But Montrealers say this may be a good time to consider candy alternatives.
I give more fruits or money for a good cause.
It's a good opportunity to have less chocolate and appreciate what you have.
And to avoid getting spooked at the checkout, it's worthwhile to shop around. Anastasia Dextrine, CTV News.
Canada's main stock index climbed more than 300 points today, helped by strength in the base metals sector. U.S. markets also surged higher. The Dow up 515, the Nasdaq up 310. Meanwhile, the Canadian dollar also up slightly. And on commodities, gold up more than $140 an ounce. Oil fell 50 cents a barrel. Later on CTV News, thieves on the loose after breaking into the Louvre. The famous French museum closed for a second straight day after a jewel heist. Welcome back. The federal finance minister is suggesting there may soon be some movement on Canadian steel and aluminum with new exemptions to counter U.S. tariffs. With more on the renewed optimism, here's Abigail Beeman.
Signs of a potential deal are strong enough for the head of the Business Council of Canada to comment publicly.
There's reason to be cautiously optimistic that we're working towards some sectoral agreements on aluminum and steel and energy, more specifically. There's still work to do. We're optimistic that if they can get it to the finish line this week, something can be announced.
Maybe a reduction or a quota, but Goldie Hyder says we won't live in a tariff-free world.
This is not about China, it's about Canada.
Meanwhile, the finance minister is defending new counter-tariff exemptions for Canadian companies bringing in steel and aluminum from the U.S. and China.
So you're talking about a very small group of very specific products that needed to enter Canada to maintain the supply chain.
While the Canadian Steel Producers Association criticizes the exemptions for being too broad, Keenan Loomis represents Canadian steel fabricators and says the decision to exempt I-beams specifically is critical to about 500 Canadian businesses that work with the U.S.
This is really, really impactful when it comes to projects where my guys are working on American projects and bringing in the steel, engineering it, fabricating it here in our shops here in Canada, and then sending it back to the U.S.
The focus now, whether there will be a sectoral deal announced this week or during the Prime Minister's upcoming trip to Asia, where both he and the American president are expected to attend the APEC summit. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
A famous museum in Paris, the Louvre, has been closed since yesterday morning after thieves managed to break in. Visitors were lined up outside this morning with the facility expected to reopen today. However, after waiting for about an hour, they were eventually told that was not going to happen.
It's kind of stunning because, well, I'm going out of the country in 2 days, so I've been planning this day for like 2 or 3 months.
I think they should have announced the closure last night rather than this morning after everybody was already in line. But it's a shame.
French police say 4 thieves used a basket lift and small chainsaws to get inside early Sunday morning. They reportedly stole several jewels from the Napoleon collection before getting away on scooters. Police say the whole operation took only 4 minutes. A petting zoo northwest of Calgary has been closed after several suspected and confirmed avian flu cases. Officials say Butterfield Acres voluntarily closed last Monday. On Friday, Alberta Health Services issued a formal closure order with no timeline for a possible reopening. The risk for human infection is considered low, but officials are telling anyone who visited the farm between October 6th and 12th to get tested if they're experiencing flu-like symptoms. 2 airport workers were killed yesterday when a cargo jet skidded off a runway into the sea in Hong Kong. Airport officials say it happened around 4 a.m. local time. The plane had landed and made it about halfway down the runway before skidding off.
Unfortunately, an airport security patrol car was there at that time. The aircraft collided with the patrol car and pushed the car into the sea.
The 4 crew members who were on the cargo jet were not injured. Rescuers attempted to save the airport workers from the water. One of them, though, died at the scene, and the other later died in hospital.
CTV News London is building an interactive map of the best Halloween decorations across the region. Check out this photo. To submit your display, email ctvlondonweb@bellmedia.ca and include your address, a photo, and any details you'd like to share. Click through our online map right now to see the spookiest sights in your neighborhood. We have a cool fall week ahead with on and off showers.
The Royal Canadian Legion presented the ceremonial first poppy to the Governor General today in Ottawa.
To all the veterans, to all members of Canada and the United Nations peacekeeping forces, to all serving members of Canada's military forces, we thank you. It is with reverence and gratitude that I accept the first poppy.
The traditional event represents the ceremonial start of the Remembrance period. The official start is on the last Friday of October, which is October 31st this year. According to the Legion, funds are donated locally during the campaign, supporting veterans and their families while promoting Remembrance. More than 100 women gathered in Mount Bridges this weekend for the annual Middlesex London Women's Leadership Conference. With more on the event and what it means for the people taking part, here's Brent Lale.
We need more women, more BIPOC leaders, more diverse voices to take those seats at the table.
It was a leadership conference by women for women.
Really, it's just to encourage women to get involved, whether it is running for council, whether it's encouraging a woman around them to run for council, or just get involved in a campaign.
The Jean Collective, founded by Helen Cole, brings together women in small groups to explore how to lead and rise above negativity.
There's a lot of division and we can pit each other against each other, but one of the quotes that was mentioned earlier is that when women come together, we really are powerful and hard to disrupt.
The event featured a panel of speakers who shared successes and challenges of leadership positions. In attendance, a wide range of women who are making an impact.
I started with $122 in my pocket. Now I have restaurant.
Alla Shevchuk came from Ukraine 3 years ago. She owns a small business in Strathroy.
I opened another location in London and I opened manufacturing next year in London. So it's everything with community, support of community and women, and it's given me a power to do what I'm doing.
Meanwhile, Medway High School student Maitland Shaw is already putting herself out there. She has goals to create environmental change and acknowledge young people have a voice.
At my school, I make it a point of knowing the names of the new grade 9s, and then I call out to them in the hallways. Like, am I going to see you at Science Club? Am I going to see you at Student Council? Because they have so many great ideas.
Just a year away from the next municipal election, a future politician could be inspired by this group.
It's not easy, it's not for everyone, but it's important that we don't step away from the table because it isn't easy. And that's what today's about, is encouraging those voices and encouraging those around us to be allies to make it easier.
Brent Lale, CTV News.
London's top stories.
We have breaking news tonight out of Ottawa. The latest in the
breaking news alerts.
I'm tracking an area of severe weather. It'll start.
And watch live.
A development now to a story from City Hall we brought you.
Download the CTV News app.
Finally tonight, some apparent competition for London's infamous Talbot Street Bridge. There's a busy overpass in Fredericton, New Brunswick that gets hit so often, it's prompting local businesses to create their own contests. Sarah Plowman reports.
Fredericton's walking bridge is popular to stroll over or pass under. A month ago, this was the attraction, a semi stuck underneath halting traffic. 2 days before, a different truck, the same position. New England Pizza launched a contest. Who can guess when this will happen next?
I wasn't expecting anything this year. I was expecting, it'd be next spring.
Guess right and win a $100 gift card. 23 people chose last Friday when it happened again. The owner will pay out $2,300.
Oh, I'm over the moon. This is great. It's good for engagement. It's good. It's just good for everybody. Everybody's laughing, having a good time about it.
Across town, another contest from a company that makes road signs and made one to highlight how many days it's been.
It was the chatter of the town. Everybody was talking about it and wondering why. It keeps happening, but it's the GPS routes. We have construction going on downtown.
One person won a gift card and sign, and now the contest restarts.
I have a prediction of, I think, November 19th range. I'm giving it a little bit of distance, but we'll see.
15 times since 2007, a truck has struck this bridge. The city says it does inspections of the bridge and doesn't anticipate any structural issues to the underpass from truck strikes.
There are warnings for drivers that this is just 3.5 meters high.
Every time it happens, I swear, at family dinners, everybody's like, hey, guess what? Somebody hit the bridge again.
Will it happen again or when? That's anyone's guess. Sarah Plowman, CTV News, Fredericton.
That's it for us. Thanks for watching. For your latest local headlines, you can always head to our website. I'm back tonight with your late news after Monday Night Football. Bye for now.